So I'm here at the Star City Games Invitational Final. We just wrapped it up with the two finalists, obviously, Carrie and Jonathan. I mentioned to Jonathan before about whether he was happy with his deck choice, and he was 6-0, so obviously quite elated with that. But Carrie, what about yourself?
Well, actually, it seems very bad to complain about your deck when it's got you to the final, but I really wasn't happy with my deck today. I went away during last week, and when I got back, all the good cards had been claimed. So I sleeved up mono red, the exact copy of the one that had just won the SCG Open. Played round one, got absolutely slaughtered, and was just like, oh, it's going to be an awful day.
Now, it seems a little weird having this tournament in what is modern season right now. You know, I mean, did that kind of maybe influence what you wanted to play?
It meant I did absolutely no prep, because I've been just very busy on modern. It didn't influence it particularly other than that, but it was quite nice to bring an aggressive deck rather than one that's going to have a very difficult mirror or something, and I'm very happy with an aggro deck. So.
And obviously with Jonathan, a nice win for you, but how did you feel sort of sideboarding against like just such an aggressive monster of a deck?
It felt good. I thought my deck had a good matchup against it. I mean, to be frank, my performance today was totally dominant, and the deck just swept everything before it. So,
could you beat a carry not draw?
Well, if my draw is good, then yeah. I don't know. I mean, there were close games.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about those close games. Game one. What are you thinking? I mean, you know what Jonathan's playing at this point. What are you thinking you have to do game one?
It has to be fast. I mean, his deck has all the card draw, all the advantage. It has enough life gain and one freeze and free falls to really shut me down. So I want an aggressive draw into a nice finisher like a Hell Rider and then maybe a Zealous Conscripts, just to not give him the chance to get into that late game, because I have no chance.
We talk a lot in like modern and certainly in Legacy how going first is really important. I mean, that seems to be a big thing with your deck as well.
Yeah, going first, always the favoured mode of the aggressive deck, but I did have to go on the draw or through the top 8, and I did win 2 of them, so it's not impossible. It's just, you'd rather be on the play.
Yeah. So, and with Jonathan, likewise, the same question. What cards do you have to stop to sort of try and win game one before sideboarding?
Well, all her cards do the same thing, except for the Hell Rider. So as long as I have Pillar of Flame, Searing Spirit, and a Snapcaster Org, I mean, all my cards sort of do the same thing. So if she has a great draw and I have a great draw, I think my deck was going to win. Yeah, I mean, there was just such a high number of cards in my deck that could deal with her early pressure. And as she said, like a simple Augur of Bolas, actually, it's more than just a removal spell. It can hold back 3 or 4 guys even. So as long as I didn't go too low on life and then be reckless because she has Hell Riders and Burn, then I think it'd be okay. I
mean, because we had one point where you put the Shock Land in untapped as your 4th land, so obviously you're repping an Angel at that point.
Yeah.
So to Carrie, do you think he could ever run that as a bluff, take the 2 life to stop you swinging with your... Because he cleared the board in that particular thing. You think he's capable of maybe bluffing that? Because you know if he makes the Angel, he clears the board there.
Yes, I mean, like, I've paid 2 life in Modern to represent Spell Snare when I don't have it. It depends very much on the player. Some people won't even respect a bluffed Restoration Angel. If I can afford to play round his bluff, I will. But at the end of the day, if he's played 2 life to fake a Restoration Angel and then doesn't have it, that's still fine for me a lot of the time. Like, because if he's got a blocker anyway, I'm probably only getting him for 2, so it works out. So it's an option, but if I can play around it, I will.
Yeah. So you're pretty much saying, like, if someone did that in the first couple of rounds, you know they've always got the Angel, but maybe against... Do you think people had got to that level of techiness?
Yeah, it depends very much on the player, I guess. I mean, I've always respected Jonathan Randle. He's not going to mess me around, but he's also going to pull the bluff when he has to. So it's a judgment call. both the occasions in the final when he represented it, he had it, and I had a pretty good feeling that he did. But yeah, sometimes it'll work.
So Jonathan, you think you were favourite so far as matchups in that particular final?
Yeah, I do. But I just want to go back to the question you asked Carrie. There was a moment when I had a decision to make, and I had an Augur and an Angel in hand, but she had the Transform Wolf. And I can, in some way, bluff not having an Angel. But ultimately, I thought Carrie isn't the type of player to just run her thing into the Angel, so I'm just going to main phase it, basically. I'm not even going to try and bluff her in this.
Because you don't want her burning the Augur if she gets to draw the card first and untap.
I want the thing to transform, which isn't even that important, but it was a small thing, but I thought it's not even worth trying to bluff her, so just do it.
So let's talk about the sort of event in general, now it's all over and wrapped up with. Will you attend another?
Yeah, definitely. Having 4 slots to play for is just so much more rewarding. Once I'd won that very important quarter-final, I was happy. Everything else after that was just, it was a nice tournament, but I was,
Right, so you're definitely going to use the slot then?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Might get another one tomorrow, that would be nice.
and likewise with you, Jonathan?
We're going to try to, yeah. Trying to take America down next.
Can we see you working together on some deck ideas?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
And finally, I mean, we had 170 players for the main event. Do you think there's any kind of limit as what we could get for the next one?
I mean, generally I felt people came away with the tournament very positively. Presumably they'll tell their friends. I wouldn't expect to see vast numbers more. I mean, we've seen a massive increase in the tournament scene in England, and I feel like 170 is a lot of people that will travel to compete turning out. So I guess we could make 200, like next year maybe, but we'll see.
I mean, we got kind of lucky in one respect in that there was no PTQs this weekend either.
Yeah, and not clashing it with that or a GP or anything it's really huge for me. Every tournament that clashes just irritates me because I want to play as much competitive Magic at a high level as I can. So yeah, not clashing it is really good.
Do you think these are sort of good sized events? In other words, they're sort of larger than PTQ, smaller than Grand Prix, and they sort of really encourage turning casual players into sort of serious tournament players as well, when they can see sort of things they honestly can achieve, as opposed to PTQs where it's really hard to get that one slot from 150 players.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say this. I mean, this is about the same level of difficulty as a PTQ. But as you say, I mean, there's less prizes at a PTQ, but
less pressure on the final as well.
Yeah, less pressure on the final. But no, I hope it grows. I hope it continues to grow. I mean, there were a lot of faces that I know weren't here.
Lots of new faces.
Yeah, lots of new faces. The chap I played in the quarterfinals, this was his first tournament. So
I was having a chat to Ollie Bird, one of the judges, and he was saying how normally when he turns up to one of these events, he recognises like 60 faces instantly, and he got to 20 and it just stopped. So what do you think sort of dragged all these new players out? Just the idea because they all use sort of Star City?
It's probably partly that. I think partly the location. I mean, picking a central spot in England that's well connected on the trains is a pretty good option. I also think what we're seeing here slightly is a hark back to Nationals, because everyone liked Nationals because there were 4 slots to play for. Like, okay, 4th didn't necessarily get to play particularly, but they got to go. And that, like, when I was starting out, I couldn't wait to play in Nationals because that felt like the way I would get onto the Pro Tour the first time. Not winning a PTQ. 4 slots, a lot more than 1.
So the changing of like the World's qualifiers to 1, you weren't happy with that?
No, I wasn't. I won a slot, but I wasn't happy with the change. I wanted to go to Nationals. I wanted to play for that top 4, not for the top 1. 1 is always hard. You got to have a really good day, and you got to keep it going.
So to other people who sort of want to play these events in the future, will you tell them to go play sort of dirtly mid-range decks where they're going to go to time every round? They're going to play for like 11 rounds to win the tournament and have to play for an hour each round? Or are you just going to say, yeah, maybe like some of these guys should really just be looking at the more aggro decks because your head will explode after 11 rounds?
No, I would advise the former. If you're a new player, I'd go with all the blue decks. Learn those decks first, get good at them, and then you become better, I think.
Yeah. The same question?
Yes. I like playing a quick deck at these events. It is a long day, and if you're taking 20-30 minutes on your rounds and someone else is taking an hour, I still feel pretty alert. I could play 5 more rounds, but I'd rather not. And I think people do, going back to your question about whether it's easier for people to take a mid-range deck or a quicker deck, people underestimate aggro decks. They think, oh, you just turn guys sideways. There's maths. You have to work out exactly how you're going to get the damage through. Should you attack even though 2 of your guys die? Yeah, it's not.
Focuses a lot more as well on making the correct mulligans, which seems to be something that a lot of players have been struggling with, certainly all of today.
Yeah, that's very fair comment to say, yeah.
Anyway, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. So if you've got any sort of last comments, any sort of websites you wish to plug?
No, you're right.
That's a very awkward question.
I only said that because, of course, Carrie works for a rival site.
Thank you.
But, yeah, congratulations to you both, and hopefully we'll see you again next time we do one.